Today's lesson is on derivative. So the definition of derivative is a slope of a tangent line. So let's try to derive the formula and the definition of it. So it says the slope of the tangent line. So let's say we have a quadratic. And this point we're going to call it x. The second point we're going to call it x plus delta x. So that means this y coordinate for this point will be f of x, because we're going to call this graph f of x. So the y coordinate of this point will be f of x plus delta x. So to find the slope, we know that there needs to be a 2 points, because we learned that slope to be rise over run, change of y over change of x. But tangent line means that it's touching at 1 point. Since the slope requires 2 points, let's start with connecting the dots from these 2 points given to us. So we have a line. Our line was to find the slope of this secant line. Okay, secant line is when you touch 2 points. So in our case, the slope of that line will be f of x plus delta x minus f of x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The point being x plus delta x minus x. So if you simplify this, your slope will come out to be f of x plus delta x minus f of x over x. So here is your slope of a secant line. Again, we said that tangent line means that you have to touch at 1 point. So in order to touch 1 point, we could pretend these 2 points are going to get closer and closer and closer and closer. So pretend that that point was moved to here, and this point was moved to here. And eventually, when these two will overlap, in other words, the distance between these 2 points, which is known as delta x, as the distance decreases, it will become a single point. Like this. Becoming a tangent line. And that concept is known as a limit that we learned in the last chapter. So as limit of delta x approaches 0, again, delta x was a distance. As these two distance of points are getting closer and closer and closer, eventually approaching to 0, slope of that equation will be the derivative. Limit of delta x approaches 0 for f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x is the definition of the derivative. So let's look at the example to calculate the derivative. So example 1, it says find the derivative of f of x equal to x squared plus 5. So we know that derivative was limit of delta x approaches 0 for f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. So the first thing we should do is to calculate f of x plus delta x. So f of x plus delta x means you're substituting x plus delta x wherever you see an x. So we have x plus delta x squared plus 5. F of x was x squared plus 5. And we have a denominator of delta x. Now we just have to calculate this, and we will have our derivative. So limit as delta x approaches 0, x squared plus 2 times x times delta x plus delta x squared plus 5 minus x squared minus 5 all over delta x. Now there's a couple terms. It's going to subtract each other out. X squared will cancel each other out. 5 will divide on 5 will subtract each other out, leaving us with 2x delta x plus delta x squared over delta x. Then we could factor out delta x. To divide delta x out. And we have a nice limit to solve. 2x plus delta x, substituting 0 into delta x, leaving us with an answer called 2x. And derivative of x squared plus 5 is 2x. Alright, next example. Find the derivative of 2 over x. So definition was limit of delta x approaching 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. Again, similar to before, we're going to substitute x plus delta x wherever you see an x to calculate f of x plus delta x. So we should have 2 over x plus delta x minus f of x being 2 over x over delta x. Again, we have a complex fraction, so we're going to find a common denominator, and then we're going to try to divide it by delta x. So on the left fraction, you should have 2x. On the right side, you should have 2 times x plus delta x. And we should have x times x plus delta x as a denominator all over delta x over 1. So if you simplify this, you will have 2x minus 2x minus 2 delta x over delta x times x plus delta x. 2x will subtract each other out. So you should have negative 2 delta x over delta x times x plus delta x. These two delta x will divide each other out. Leaving us with negative 2 over x times x plus delta x to solve our limits. If you substitute delta x as a 0, you should have negative 2 over x squared as our answer, which means negative 2 over x squared is the derivative of 2 over x.